In the misty highlands of Colombia, not far from the bustling city of Bogotá, archaeologists made a remarkable discovery: ancient human skeletons at the site of Checua. These bones, carefully unearthed from the earth, date back an astonishing 6,000 years, connecting us to a distant and mysterious past. The remains offered a rare and invaluable glimpse into the lives of people who once roamed these highlands. They were hunter-gatherers, skilled at surviving and adapting to the challenging environment of the Andes, long before the first written records. Their tools and artifacts reveal a resourceful people, constantly innovating to thrive in a rugged landscape. Yet the real intrigue was hidden deeper, within their DNA, preserved for millennia in the ancient bones. Scientists worked meticulously, extracting genetic material with the utmost care. Their goal was to map the genetic blueprint of the Checua people, to see how they were related to other ancient populations, and to trace their connections to modern communities across the Americas. The age of these skeletons places them in the Archaic period, a time of profound change, when small groups began experimenting with new ways of life, shifting from pure foraging to early forms of settlement and social organization. Studying Checua means exploring the lives of true pioneers, people who not only survived but thrived in high-altitude environments, forging communities in places where few dared to settle. The burial patterns at Checua are striking. They suggest a society with established traditions, rituals, and beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife, evidence of a shared worldview passed down through generations. These were not random burials but intentional acts, reflecting a community bound by shared customs and a sense of identity. The skeletons represent men, women, and children, a cross-section of an entire community, frozen in time. Their presence tells us about family, social bonds, and the rhythms of daily life in ancient Checua. Their remains, combined with cutting-edge genetic analysis, offer an unparalleled opportunity to reconstruct the origins, migrations, and fate of this ancient group, shedding light on how they lived, where they came from, and what became of them. These ancient people are silent witnesses to a lost chapter of human history, waiting patiently for science to give them a voice and reveal the secrets they have carried for thousands of years. When the Checua DNA results finally came back, scientists were stunned by what they saw. The data didn't just add a new chapter to South American history, it completely rewrote it. Instead of matching any known indigenous groups, the Checua people revealed a unique genetic lineage, a branch on the human family tree that had never been seen before, distinct and isolated from all others. This wasn't just a minor genetic difference, it was a dramatic divergence, a clear sign of a population that had been genetically separate from all modern indigenous communities for thousands of years. The Checua DNA challenged the long-held idea that all South American indigenous groups descended from a single founding population. It forced scientists to reconsider the entire story of how the continent was peopled. Instead, the evidence suggested that multiple distinct groups once populated South America. Some, like the Checua, left no direct descendants, their bloodlines fading into history. Over centuries, their unique genetic signature vanished, making the Checua a true ghost population, one that existed, thrived, and then disappeared without a trace in today's gene pool. The origins of the Checua remain shrouded in mystery, as their DNA doesn't closely match any other ancient or modern group ever studied. Their story is a puzzle with missing pieces. This remarkable discovery highlights just how complex ancient migrations and interactions in the Americas truly were, revealing a web of movement and contact that we are only beginning to understand. Rigorous testing and repeated analysis confirmed that the Checua skeletons represented a previously unknown group, one that had been hidden in plain sight for millennia. The Checua story is a humbling reminder that the history written in our genes is far more intricate, mysterious, and surprising than we ever imagined, and that many secrets still lie buried, waiting to be uncovered. The Bogotá Plateau, where Checua was found, has long been a vital corridor for human movement in South America. For thousands of years, this elevated expanse has witnessed the passage of countless groups, each leaving their mark on the land and its story. This high-altitude plain connected the Caribbean, Amazon, and Andes, making it a natural crossroads for cultures and peoples. Its unique geography funneled travelers, traders, and entire communities through its valleys and ridges, shaping the destinies of those who passed. 6,000 years ago, it was a dynamic environment, rich in resources and attractive to migrating groups. Abundant water, fertile soils, and diverse wildlife made it a place where people could thrive, adapt, and innovate. The Checua were among the earliest to master this challenging landscape. Their survival depended on understanding the rhythms of the land, from seasonal rains to the movement of animals and plants. Over time, the region saw waves of new tools, pottery, and burial practices, reflecting ongoing innovation and the arrival of new populations. Each generation brought fresh ideas, technologies, and beliefs, weaving a complex tapestry of human history. The plateau was both a highway and a destination, shaping the flow of migration and fostering unique cultures. Its trails became arteries of exchange, carrying not just people, but languages, traditions, and genes. Understanding this context is key to the Checua mystery. Only by piecing together the evidence from landscape, artifacts, and bones can we glimpse the lives of those who came before. The Checua skeletons provide a crucial piece of a much larger puzzle, showing who lived at this crossroads in deep time. Their remains tell stories of adaptation, resilience, and change. Their unique DNA confirms the region's history is one of replacement and change, not continuity. Populations came and went, each wave leaving genetic traces that scientists are only now beginning to unravel. The Bogotá Plateau actively shaped the genetic and cultural history of South America, standing as a testament to the enduring power of place in the human journey. The Checua DNA was present in the Bogotá region for thousands of years, but by 1,000 years ago, it had vanished. In its place, scientists found a new genetic profile, one closely related to the modern Muisca people. This new lineage had roots in Central America and the Caribbean, pointing to a major migration event. A new group moved into the highlands, fundamentally reshaping the region's genetic landscape. The story of the plateau is one of two peoples, the Checua, who vanished, and the newcomers, who thrived. This replacement happened long before Europeans arrived, revealing a complex pre-Columbian history of migration. DNA evidence shows the Muisca did not evolve from the Checua, they replaced them. The newcomers brought their own genetic and cultural heritage, setting the stage for the next chapter. The genetic shift marks a pivotal moment in the region's history. Surprisingly, the archaeological record shows no evidence of widespread violence during this population shift. The Checua's disappearance and the newcomers' rise seem to have been gradual and peaceful. The newcomers may have arrived in small groups, integrating over time, possibly aided by more efficient farming. Over generations, their population grew while the Checua dwindled, perhaps due to disease or competition for resources. There may have been some coexistence or intermarriage, but not enough to preserve the Checua lineage. The Checua might have been absorbed or migrated away, leaving the plateau to the ancestors of the Muisca. This peaceful transition challenges dramatic ideas about ancient history. Sometimes profound change happens quietly without war or conquest. The arrival of the newcomers brought not just new genes, but new technology and culture. They introduced pottery and advanced agriculture, especially maize cultivation, transforming life on the plateau. Pottery allowed for better cooking, storage, and food security, supporting larger, more settled communities. Archaeologists trace the newcomers' arrival by the sudden appearance of new pottery styles. Intensive maize farming supported bigger populations and encouraged permanent villages. This agricultural revolution fundamentally changed the relationship between people and land. The newcomers' innovations gave them a clear advantage over the hunter-gatherer Checua. Better nutrition and population growth followed, while the Checua struggled to compete. Over time, the farming lifestyle proved more successful in this environment. The story of the plateau is about how new ideas and technologies reshape societies. As we explore Checua's genetic history, it's vital to distinguish between genetics and cultural identity. DNA reveals ancestry and migrations, but it doesn't define who we are as individuals or communities. Cultural identity is shaped by language, traditions, beliefs, and shared history. The modern Muisca are the cultural descendants of those who lived on the plateau for the last 1,000 years, regardless of ancient DNA. Misinterpreting genetic data can lead to harmful conclusions about identity and rights. The Checua discovery doesn't diminish the Muisca's connection to their land. The Muisca culture developed over centuries, rooted in history, not a specific genetic marker. Researchers emphasize that genetics is not about defining who is truly indigenous. Instead, it enriches our understanding of humanity's deep and complex past. Genetics is a tool for ancestry. Culture is the living heart of identity. A key part of the Checua research was involving contemporary indigenous communities. In the past, studies often ignored local voices, causing mistrust and pain. Now, scientists work closely with Muisca and other groups, ensuring research is respectful and collaborative. Indigenous perspectives and oral traditions add invaluable context to scientific findings. This partnership creates a narrative co-authored by those whose history is being explored. It helps prevent misinterpretation and ensures findings are shared meaningfully with communities. Engaging indigenous voices turns research into a two-way dialogue and fulfills an ethical responsibility. Respectful collaboration sets a new standard for ancient DNA research. The Checua discovery has revealed just how much of South America's genetic history remains hidden. It raises the question, what other secrets lie buried across the continent? The Bogotá Plateau was one crossroads, but many more exist. Expanding ancient DNA studies into Venezuela, Ecuador, and beyond could map migration routes and interactions in unprecedented detail. Each new skeleton with viable DNA is like finding a new book in a lost library. This research restores a deeper, more complex history to indigenous peoples. It replaces the idea of a single story with a rich tapestry of migrations and innovations. The Checua remind us the past is never truly lost. New discoveries await in the soil. With new tools and respect, we can continue learning from our